it's Ray. Welcome back or welcome to Ray Recaps. Today, we look at another one of my favorites. Imagine you live in a world where this guy has one of the greatest minds in horror ever. Well, you do. This is Jordan Peele. Get Out is Jordan Peele's first film. It was released February of 2017. It stars Daniel Kaluuya as Chris, and he is just amazing. I can't wait to see him in a lot of scary stuff. My favorite character of his so far is OJ from Nope, another Jordan Peele movie. This is the Armitage family. Missy, Dean, Jeremy, and Rose. They're a messy bunch. They're going to lure our brave protagonist here into something sick, twisted, and f***ed. Their family. Get Out is literally one of the best scary movies ever made. I love scary movies where things appear one way, but we're actually different the whole time. And Get Out is no exception. It's trippy. It's Chris's first time making their acquaintance, and it goes just about as bad as meeting the parents can go. Things end up not what Chris expected, as they go from bad to worse to him being tied to a chair. Being a part of the family takes on a whole new meaning in this film. I want to give you a spoiler warning. Now, why would Chris here end up tied to a chair after a simple meeting the parents weekend? I'll tell you. We see a guy who is lost in a rich-looking neighborhood. Someone drives by playing Run Rabbit Run by Flanagan and Allen. Then they turn around. Before the man can change directions, he is knocked out and kidnapped. We can't see who the kidnapper is as they put him in the trunk with a casual calmness, like they do this all the time. We then meet our main character. Chris is a laid-back photographer. He is getting ready for he and his girlfriend's trip to her parents' house, and has no idea of the horrors that await him. He asks if they know he is black, and Rose says they don't, but reassures Chris that her parents are not racists. They would have voted for Obama for a third term after all. On the way there, besides Chris's hilarious, amazing TSA agent extraordinaire best friend Rod calling, they hit a deer pretty badly. It's not that Rose doesn't care at all about this deer, but she just calls for help, normal response. But Chris has to go see this deer. This accident has really struck a chord with him. He is frozen with fear. He looks like he could cry. The cop comes, hounds him for his ID for no reason. Rose stands up for him, and he loves that about her. They get to the family home. Dean and Missy greet them. Everything is pretty chill. The house is amazing. The parents are smiling. The groundskeeper is doing nothing but standing and watching them from outside, though. Inside, Dean gives Chris a tour, and we learn Dean's dad, named Roman, lost to Jesse Owens in the 1936 Olympics. He never got over it, says Dean. They greet Georgina in the kitchen, the black housekeeper. Then they go outside and see Walter, the black groundskeeper. Awkward. Dean kindly offers up an explanation. They've been in the family forever, and they can't bear to part with them. During tea, Dean boasts about Missy's hypnosis skills. She can use them to get Chris to stop smoking, but he says he's good. Rose's family life seems pretty perfect. As for Chris, we learn his dad wasn't around when he was a kid, and his mom died when he was 11. It is extremely hard for him to talk about, and Rose says to chill with the questions. A few other things happen as well. We learn there's a yearly party going on that weekend at the house. Georgina spills tea all over the table by accident while in some sort of hazy state, and Rose's brother Jeremy shows up. They have dinner that night, and Jeremy is just talking it up. Dean tells him to shush, and Jeremy says he just wants to get to know Chris. Asks him about fighting, UFC, street fights, judo, mentioning Chris's frame and genetic makeup. He is so into the conversation he might as well be drooling. Chris eventually replies, "Cool." Of course, he tries to then physically wrestle Chris. Then Missy has to calm him down. That night, Rose knows Chris is upset and they have sex. He can't sleep, though, and goes out for a smoke. Georgina and Walter are also awake. Georgina's looking in a daze while Walter is outside, just running. As Chris walks back inside, Missy is in the living room and jokes about his smoking habit. She invites him to sit. He does, and she picks up her tea. She asks if he wants to know how it works, referring to her hypnosis. Chris makes a joke about dangling a pocket watch. Missy chuckles and stirs her tea. She then casually says he's feeling very sleepy, then asks a sequence of questions. They range from, is he comfortable in the chair, to why didn't he do anything when his mom was dying? All Chris can do is look around worriedly while he answers her questions and she stirs her tea. The sound of the spoon hitting the cup seemingly putting Chris more and more on edge. He becomes frantic in the seat and can do nothing about it, it seems. He dutifully answers all her questions, no matter the subject and whether he wants to or not. He looks like he could cry, then of course cries, bawls his eyes out. We learn Chris's mom died when he was 11 from a car accident. She didn't come home on time. Chris had a bad feeling, but he just watched TV. He didn't call her. He didn't call anyone. He didn't leave his bed. He didn't do anything, reasoning that if he did, it would make it real. Not only is he answering Missy's casually invasive questions, but he is doing whatever she says. So she sweetly tells Chris to sink into the floor, and his conscience sinks into what the film calls the sunken place. While his physical body cannot move or speak, it has no control. He is just stuck there looking out, and he sees what his body sees. It looks like torment. Chris screams into the void, then wakes up like it was a bad dream, but it's about to get a lot worse. Chris has to attend the worst party of all time. His day starts out introducing himself to Walter. Maybe he's just running around for fun at night. At this point, he'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he just wants some familiarity. But no, Walter is a freak. He makes some weird comments about Rose, like being a dime piece or something. It's weird. And then he sees Georgina, the other only black person there, and she's just fixing her wig. And then she gives him like a death glare. Poor thing is just looking for someone to probably talk to. Another black person, preferably. He can't talk to Rose about it because she responds in such a cavalier way. It's not like she doesn't care. She's just indifferent to it. So she offers to talk to her dad, and Chris says, no, don't talk to your dad. He's feeling a little bit stuck. The annual party shows up, and it's just all these older white people. They ask him questions like he's interviewing to be their golf instructor or their sex god boyfriend or their fashion inspo. It's casual chuckles all around as Chris feels just utterly out of place. But then he spots a man. He is relieved there is another black person attending this party. It's the man from the beginning of the movie, and he looks like his whole vibe has completely changed. It's a big difference from when we saw him last. Chris happily goes to the man though, introducing himself and expressing his relief in finding someone at the party who shares a genuine similarity with him. Then we see the man is with one of the annual partygoers, an elderly white woman. She's akin to the people that are watching and questioning Chris. And to top it off, the man is acting just very off. He's acting just like Walter and Georgina. Chris is in shock. He does meet someone else at the party, Jim Hudson, a blind art dealer. Chris takes a liking to him, actually, as he finds him interesting because he's a photographer. Chris sits with him for a sec. Because he's blind, he doesn't have the ability to look at Chris like a new dress at the mall like those people were. Chris goes upstairs to get away from everyone for a sec, obviously, including Rose. She doesn't understand how he feels. He calls his best friend Rod and lets him know he got hypnotized last night. It actually worked though for the Sigs. He doesn't like them anymore. Rod and him make jokes about it, but Rod does not support. Chris tells Rod about how weird the black people are acting too. Connecting the dots, Rod jokes they're probably hypnotized. They hang up and Georgina comes right in to confirm said hypnosis. Because what is going on? Are you okay, girl? I can call someone. This happens right after Chris tells her he gets nervous around too many white people. Yet another feeler statement sent out because Chris is the only black person around, only to be met with straight up weirdness. But she makes sure to clarify the Armitages are very good to us. They treat us like family. Chris is more freaked out than ever, not sure what to do. Things get worse when he goes downstairs and tries to take a photo of the only black man there attending the party to show Rod. But the flash goes off and it has a terrible outcome. The guy stares at Chris in a daze, gets a bloody nose, then grabs Chris by his shoulders and yells repeatedly to get out. Obviously, you probably should have left yesterday, you know. Then, everyone at the party explains it away, the man's episode, also calling him Logan, and the man leaves to go home and rest. Chris doesn't know what to think. He talks about how uncomfortable he is with everything as he and Rose get some alone time by the lake. He also admits to her that when he came at Chris felt like he knew him. In the meantime, there's some sort of silent auction thing going on that Dean is running for the party guests. As the camera zooms out, what they are betting on becomes clear. Chris. And who wins him? Why, Mr. Jim Hudson, the blind art dealer. But what exactly does this mean? What are you guys getting out of betting on him? Just wait. Back by the lake, Chris and Rose are having a heart-to-heart. He found out his mom didn't even die on impact, but minutes later. Meaning if he had gotten up to do something, she could have possibly gotten help and she may still be alive. This fact causes Chris immense pain and trauma that he lives with to this very day. He rises above all these feelings of despair though, and promises Rose he will never leave her like he left his mom. It's a really sweet moment, and she finally says, let's leave and go home. Finally. But it's a little too late. They have to, of course, go back inside to get their stuff from the house. When they walk past Missy and Dean to go in the house, they're like, Chris is alone in Rose's room and sends Rod that picture he took. Rod calls him immediately and says that's Andre Hayworth.
Used to kick it with Veronica. Veronica from what? Teresa's sister that worked at the movie theater on 8th.
He went missing months ago, and everyone at the party was calling him Logan. Chris confirms he knew this guy from somewhere. As they start to actually get somewhere with all the information, the call cuts out. Rose walks back in the room, probably from cutting the phone power, bitch. Chris says, we gotta go. She's like, let me go get my bag. While she's gone, the little door in her room is open. Chris can't help but look, and in this little red box are pictures of Rose. Several. She is happy and smiling as these pictures are from past relationships. In each picture, she is with a black person.
You said I was the first black guy you ever dated.
Yes, and what?
The most recent being pictures of her with who appears to be Georgina and Walter, her housemaid and groundskeeper. What the f***? He puts it away and starts to panic. Rose is there and asks if he's ready. She's looking for the car keys, unable to find them though, and Chris is so freaked out, he starts getting all shaky in his voice and says they will find them on the way down to the car. He leaves the room with her following. He just wants to get out of this place. Jeremy is in front of the door with some sort of stick thing. I don't know, I think it's for sports. Missy's there and asks if he wants some tea. Chris is almost in a full panic, asks Rose for backup. On the spot, she makes up a lie about his dog being sick and that they have to go. She continues searching her bag for the keys. And then Dean, our guy Dean, it's Dean's turn to ask Chris some weird questions. Everyone else has gotten to. What is your purpose, Chris? Dean asks, with disgust on his face. He goes on about mortality and how we're all going to die. But he says, quote, we are divine. This is an excuse for all the bad things they are doing there. The procedures they are doing. Chris by now can't stop asking for the keys. It seems she really just can't find them. I would walk home at this point, Chris. Then Jeremy takes a swing at Chris with the stick. What the f***? Rose says. Everything feels like the Twilight Zone at this point. Chris is lost. He asks now almost with defeat in his voice. Like he knows now Rose is not who she says she is. Where are those keys, Rose? And she goes, you know I can't give you the keys, right, babe? Dangling them in his face. Ouch. He drops his bag and everything reshapes itself. Time to get real. But there is not just a one-on-one fight with Jeremy going on here. So Missy taps her cup and we all know what that does to Chris. Hypnosis. He immediately stops moving and falls to the floor. The family doesn't miss a beat. Rose puts her hair up. Missy scolds Jeremy for damaging the body and tells him to take Chris downstairs. Jeremy is like their little errand runt boy. He is also the one who kidnapped Andre in the very beginning of the film. Chris wakes up tied to a chair. Someone appears on the TV in front of him. It's Roman Armitage, Dean's father. He happily explains that it's something called the coagula procedure that the Armitage family specializes in. They are kidnapping black people to combine their DNA with members of the family so that members of the family will have that black person's skills. Once the procedure has been underwent, the black person isn't gone per se. A piece of their subconscious is still there, meaning they go to the sunken place, able to see, hear, and experience everything their body is, but having no control, while the white person inside is the one actually connected to the nervous system. This is why Georgina was crying earlier. The real her was probably shouting for help from Chris, or begging him to get out like Andre was. Rose's grandmother is in Georgina's body, and her grandfather Roman is inside Walter's. Their real minds are somewhere in there still, just stuck in the sunken place. They have been trapped there since they underwent their surgeries. This is why they act so strangely. Each member of the Armitage family has their weird little role to play. Rose lures people to pretend she's in relationships. Jeremy is the errand boy. Missy hypnotizes the victims, and Dean is the surgeon. And Chris is not knocked out. He is continually knocked out and woken up, given information about what he is about to go through, eventually waking up to a familiar face. It's Jim Hudson, the blind art dealer who ended up betting and winning Chris at the silent auction. He is prepping for his surgery to have Chris's body and become him, unless Chris can do something about it, and quick. Back home, Rod is trying to do what he can to help, and he is on the money, but he keeps bringing up this sex slave idea, and they stop taking him seriously. When Jim talks to Chris from the TV, he calmly explains the barbaric acts happening at the house. Chris just has to listen, questioning why and sitting in agony before getting knocked out again. The cotton from the chair he is nervously picking at has been exposed, so he put it in his ear so he won't be able to hear the spoon stirring. Dean slices up Jimbo's head and he's ready for Chris. Jeremy, the little lapdog, goes to fetch. Chris hits him on the head with a weighted ball. He gets knocked out. There's a deer head that was facing Chris when he was sitting in the chair, no doubt symbolic. He uses it to stab Dean right through his body, killing him dead once and for all to end his horrific procedures. Dean was literally in the middle of doing Jim's surgery also, so he ain't waking up either. Back upstairs now and almost out of this nightmare, Chris sees Missy and breaks her teacup, ending her ability to hypnotize him again. Then he stabs her in the face. It's another satisfying kill. But then as he is almost out the front door, Jeremy pops up. He wasn't dead. He's ready for his fight. Him and Chris go at it, but Chris has had enough of this family. He opens the door slightly and Jeremy goes to kick it back closed, and that's when he stabs Jeremy in the leg, making him fall back, giving him time to get the upper hand and stomp Jeremy's face out. Long time coming to that douchebag. But there's still one more. She's in her bedroom, looking over the NBA draft and eating cereal with the cereal and milk separate from each other. It's kind of creepy how detached she is from everything. Chris gets in Jeremy's car to escape, but hits Georgina. He remembers she's trapped in her own body and the events of his mother, so he decides to stop driving and get out the car to help her. This soon becomes bad because she wakes up and starts hitting him and berating him for messing up her house. They crash and she dies. Chris is so badly beat up he can barely talk anymore. And then Rose comes towards him with a rifle and Walter running for him. He tackles Chris to the ground, but Chris manages to get his phone and take a picture of Walter using the flash to snap him out of his trance, like what happened with Andre back at the party. It works, and Walter uses his one free conscious moment to free himself of the torture of being stuck in the sunken place. He tells Rose to give him the gun, acting like he's going to shoot Chris, but then turns the gun on Rose and shoots her. Then he shoots and kills himself. Rose is still alive and tries to apologize to Chris, but it's way too late and just another ploy. He tries to choke her out. She smiles at this, and he cannot kill her. He's not that kind of person to just kill someone like these people. But it almost doesn't even matter, because as he is over Rose and suspect looking, a cop car shows up. Rose, the fake bitch, also starts calling for help. She knows exactly when to play innocent. Luckily though, it's not a cop car. It's Rod coming to get his best friend. His best friend has come to drive him away from this horrible, obscene Twilight Zone, and we see Rose stop breathing and she dies as they drive away.